Hello and welcome to this week's video where I'm going to be looking at being non-judgmental. Now, oh, excuse me, we all have a lot of judgmental thoughts. We might not realise that they're judgmental, but they are. When we meet somebody else, we make instinctive judgments about who they are, what their words mean. But more importantly, we're often very judgmental about ourselves. We will have thoughts running through our minds that say things like, well, I can never pass exams, I'm fat, I can't lose weight, I can't give up smoking, I'm never going to get a good job like that, I'm not as successful as somebody else. And actually those sorts of thoughts are really unhelpful. So how can the practice of qigong help you with being non-judgmental? Well, it's actually quite simple. What you need to do is to, as you're doing the moves, oh dear, excuse me, as you're doing the moves, it's very easy to have thoughts going through your head along the lines of, I'm not doing this right, maybe I should be making the moves bigger, am I standing correctly? And so during this week's session, what I want you to do is to be very aware of those sorts of thoughts when they come in and do your best to knock them on the head. Now, how are you possibly judging? Well, I'm going to go through one move in detail, which is a move we will be doing in a bit, and that's the second move of the set, where you breathe in, your arms float up and then they spread out and then you bring them back in on the out breath. Now, the way this move is supposed to work, the movement of the arms up is triggered by the movement of these core abdominal muscles as you breathe in, and the outward is triggered by the breath and the expansion of your chest and lungs. Now, if you've really been practicing qigong and doing nothing else but practicing qigong for years and years and years, and you've got a nice strong core muscles and you're really working mindfully, then yes, as you breathe in, your arms will float up and your arms will spread out a decent distance, and then as you breathe out, they'll float back in and back down. But if you haven't been practicing and you haven't got that bigger breath, then if all you can manage is something like this, you breathe in, your arms float up and there's a gentle turn from the shoulder and your arms sort of change, your hands move through 90 degrees, and then on the out breath you just reverse it all. That may not look as flashy and as showy, but if that's all you can manage, then there is no need to judge yourself, because you can't make the big movement. I often say small is beautiful in Tai Chi, but in a world where everything seems to be bigger and flashier than everything else, that's very counterintuitive. So as you go through today's move set, I want you, as always, to be very, very mindful of what your body wants to do, what your breath wants to do, how your shoulders are feeling, how far everything wants to move, making sure that you don't do anything that causes you pain or discomfort. And if you know, I mean, if you were in a class of people and you could all see everybody else, there will be a tendency to judge yourself against what other people were doing. as it is, you can only judge yourself against what I'm doing. If you can't get that range of movement, I don't want you to judge yourself. I actually want you to congratulate yourself for being really mindful of what your body and your breath are enabling you to do, and for being mindful of that and just doing that. Because this isn't a competitive sport. Not practiced the way I do anyway. So there's nobody to impress except maybe your ego or your subconscious. And trust me, your ego and your subconscious don't always give you good advice. So as we go through this set, I want you to really just, if you can only make small moves, not to criticise yourself, but to accept, well, that's just where I am today. So, hope you've got yourself into a space where you can be undisturbed for about 20 minutes or so. We'll be having the normal meditation afterwards. So, get yourself into your space. Get yourself standing or sitting if you need to sit for the qigong. And I'd like to start by bowing in. So bring your left hand across your body with the palm up, right hand palm down, and bow. And then step out into hip width stance. If you're seated, get your feet a hip width apart, making sure that your feet are parallel and pointing forward. And make sure that your feet are really flat on the ground, that the weight, well, if you're standing, that your weight is evenly distributed. If you're seated, obviously you've got no weight much on your feet, but think about the whole of your foot. Think about the inside edge and the outside edge and the ball and the heel, and make sure everything is evenly planted. Then bring your attention up to your knees, and if you're standing, just relax them gently. If you're seated, make sure that that bend is about at 90 degrees. Then bring your awareness up to your hips and your core abdominal muscles. If you're seated, make sure that the angle between your hips and your body is about 90 degrees and you're not hunched over. And whether you're seated or standing, make sure you've got your core abdominal muscles engaged as much as you can. Get your back straight. Get your neck straight and then tuck your chin in. Think about the top of your head. Make sure the top of your head is pointing up at the ceiling. Take a moment to get used to this position. Just breathe. Get used to this position. Maybe get a sense of how you'd like to feel at the end of this. And then I'd like you to imagine that you're in that beautiful 5-star lift with the big carpet, the big chairs, and the motor on this lift purrs like a Rolls Royce. This lift has got glass walls. And through those glass walls you can see the most beautiful countryside. As you look out over that countryside, you feel relaxed and calm. And then when you're ready, with every out breath, can you allow that lift to gently float down, one floor at a time, until it reaches the ground. And then get your hands so that the palms are facing backwards or resting downwards on your lap if that's what works for you. And then with your next in-breath, just slowly allow your arms to float out in front of you. And on the out-breath, they just sink down. Find your own breath and your own rhythm. Only move your arms as far as you can manage in one gentle, easy breath. Be aware of your abdominal muscles and let that be the engine that pushes things along. Don't force anything, just let everything flow, and if you're not making a big move, that's okay. I'll do this move twice more. At the bottom, just relax and let go. And we'll go on to move 2. Breathing in, your arms float up and spread apart. As you breathe out, they float back in and back down. Make this movement really small if that's all you can manage. It doesn't matter. And we'll do this move twice more. At the bottom, just relax and let go. Then with your next in-breath, bring your arms up and you're taking them as high as you're comfortable with. And as you breathe out, gently shift your weight to the left, dip on your left side and let your right arm uncurl. As you breathe in, everything comes back to the centre. If you're seated, raise the heel slightly on the same side as the arm that you're uncurling. Do this move twice more, once more on each side. As you breathe in, your hands meet at the top. Breathe out and allow your hands to sweep all the way down by your side. And as you breathe in, they float up again. Again, only take your arms as far as you can manage in one breath. Only make the movement as big as you're comfortable with, as big as your body can manage, as big as your shoulders can manage, as big as your breath can manage. I want to do this move twice more. And this time as you breathe out, bring your hands in front of your abdomen with the palms up. And as you breathe in, can you imagine you feel around that small ball, and as you breathe out, imagine you push that ball down. Breathe in, Feel around that ball, breathe out and push it down. And then last time for this move. This time as you breathe out, bring your hands to rest in front of your abdomen or in your lap or whatever works for you. And just for a few moments, stand, breathe, and just get that sense of everything settling back to where it should be. Then bring your feet together. We'll bow out as we bowed in. Then I'd like to invite you to get yourself into a good position, comfy position, ready for a short mindfulness meditation. You can sit or lie or even stand in any position that's comfortable for you. You don't have to close your eyes during a mindfulness meditation, but I'm going to be suggesting things that you can keep your attention focused on, and sometimes it helps to close your eyes so you don't get distracted by other things, but it's entirely a personal opinion. And as you sit there, I'm going to invite you to, first of all, I want you to be very aware of the room where you are. Notice any sounds that are reaching your ears. Obviously the sound of my voice, but any other sounds that are coming to you. Don't reach out to listen. Just be very much in your personal space and just notice all the sounds that reach your ears. And notice how they come and they go. And I also want you to notice that actually you can put your attention wherever you want it to be. And that if your attention gets pulled away by something, you can bring your attention back. So there's no need to be distracted by sounds. And then bring your awareness even closer in. And can you be aware of the sensations that you have on your body right now? Touch of clothes on your skin. The touch of the bed or the chair or the floor supporting you. Maybe touch of air on your skin. Maybe you've got an irritation or an itch or even a certain amount of discomfort somewhere. Acknowledge those feelings. And just notice how, again, they come and they go, and you don't have to pay attention to them. If you need to adjust your position at all to make sure that you haven't got any physical pain or discomfort, then feel free to do that at any point during the meditation. There's no need to lie still during mindfulness meditation. And then, can you bring your awareness into your breath, just noticing every in-breath and every out-breath as it naturally happens? Notice the natural rhythm and flow. Notice how it happens without conscious effort on your part. And because it happens without conscious effort, you may well find that your mind doesn't want to focus on that. Maybe you become aware of feelings of impatience or even boredom. Well, if that's what you start feeling, that's okay. Don't judge yourself. Just acknowledge that That's the thought that you've got. But then bring your mind back to focusing on your breath. Just noticing every in-breath and every out-breath as it naturally happens. Be curious. What do you feel with each breath? What do you feel that tells you that you're starting to breathe in? What do you feel that tells you you're starting to breathe out? What sensations do you have during the whole breath? Maybe you're aware of air moving in various places, in and out through your nose, in the back of your throat. Maybe you're aware of muscles moving, your chest, your tummy, your back, maybe even your shoulders. Just notice all those sensations, and maybe if there's one sensation that is stronger than all the others, just let your attention rest there. That's okay. Don't worry about what you should be noticing or what others are noticing. It's not a competitive sport. Whatever you notice is perfect for you. And there's nothing wrong in whatever you notice, so don't judge yourself. And if you find yourself, your mind drifting away, maybe into a daydream or thinking about other things that seem more important, well, that's perfectly natural. You've got a normal human mind, and that's what normal human minds want to do. They want to think about things that are supposed to be more important. But when you notice your mind has wandered away, don't criticise, don't judge, but actually congratulate yourself, because that's what mindfulness is about. It's about noticing what your mind is doing. And then gently lead your mind back once more to focusing on your breath. Because whatever else may be going on, right here, right now, the only thing that matters is just this breath coming in, just this breath going out. Use your mind as an anchor to anchor you into this moment. Now there's a lot of movement associated with breathing. But now I'd like to invite you to see if you can become aware of that brief moment of stillness that happens in between each breath. Because when an in-breath becomes an out-breath, and then again when the out-breath becomes an in-breath, just for a moment, everything is still. Without holding your breath, can you become aware of that brief moment of stillness? And if you can you notice how you feel within that brief moment of stillness? Because stillness is something that can be very hard to find in a busy world, where we're always rushing from one place to another, and very certainly it's very difficult for our minds to be still. You might like to think about the fact that that moment of stillness happens hundreds of times every day, whether you're aware of it or not. But that means that any time you need stillness, you can actually use your breath to anchor yourself into that moment of stillness. Maybe you can imagine that stillness spreading out from a point in the centre of your chest. With each breath spreading out to fill your torso. And then spreading all the way down your legs to your toes. Spreading all the way down your arms to your fingertips. And then spreading through your neck all the way up to the top of your head. Allow that feeling of stillness to fill your body. And for a few breaths, hold the whole of your body in your awareness, filled with that feeling of stillness. Just notice how that feels. Then bring your awareness back once more to your breath. And can you get the idea that your breath can be an anchor to help anchor you into that moment of stillness anytime you need it? So, it's time now to let your awareness start to move outwards. So I'd like to invite you to become once more aware of where your body is in the room, where your body is in the chair or on the bed. Become aware of feelings on you, touch of the chair, air on your skin, and then become aware of sounds from both inside and outside the room. And then, if you've got your eyes closed, open them. If your eyes have been open all along, bring yourself back to normal awareness. And when you're back to normal awareness, just keep in the front of your mind the thought that you can take this feeling with you through the rest of your day. Don't rush off. Take a moment to make sure that you are fully back. And I hope that you can use your focus on your breath to bring you back into that feeling, this feeling that you have right here, right now. Thank you for being with me this week. As ever, if you've enjoyed this video, please feel free to share it with somebody that you think may also enjoy it. If you've really enjoyed the video and would like more video time with me, then hop on over to my Patreon page and have a look at the benefits that are available to sponsors. These videos will also be going on to the Crystal Wolf Holistic Care YouTube channel. And if you have any comments or questions or queries, do please feel free to contact me either through my personal page, Sally Haynes Priest, or through the Crystal Wolf pages. Thank you for being with me today, and I look forward to you joining me next week.